Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Sunyavari Paschachade Shatarane Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jananjana Slakaya Chakshuntam Jina Tasmai Shri Namaha. Okay, so we can begin reciting the Sri Isopnisad. We can say the Sanskrit all together, and then
Are you sharing in the?
Usually the host does that.
Rasraj Prabhu, are you planning to share?
It's hard to repeat Sanskrit if you don't see it. Helps if you can see it.
If you can't find it, we could do it line by line.
Yeah, I think he's sharing now.
Good. Ready?
Mother Jiva, which verse are you doing?
We're chanting all verses. We'll do that each time.
Okay, I don't see the visual, I only hear, so I'll have to refer to the book. That's why
Yes.
If I have to join.
Otherwise
I'll just look.
Do you have a book handy?
Yeah, the Isopnisad, the little one, right?
Yeah. Okay. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. Ishavashamidam sarvam yat jagadyam jagat ina chaktena bhunjita magvidha kashyasvidhanam. Someone else like to read?
Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong.
1 to 2. Kurvani Jiva chatam evam tvainanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare.
One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way, for that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man.
Mantra 3. Asurya nama te loka andena tamasavrita tamste preja bigajanti yeke chatmahano janaha. Mantra 4. Hare jare kamanaso javio naina deva apnuvam purvam achat tadhavatonya nachite titis tat tasnapo matarishva dadati.
Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others' runnings. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place he controls those who supply the air and rain, he surpasses all in excellence.
Mantra 5. Tad ejati tad naijati tad dure tad bantike tad antarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya shabhayataha.
The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything.
Mantra 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani vanupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato navi jagupsate.
He who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, he sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being.
Mantra 7. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva buddhi janataha tatra ko mohaka shoka ekatvam manupashyataha.
One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks in quality, one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion of or anxiety for him?
Mantra 8. Saparya jachukram makayam avrinam ashnaviram shudham apapa vidham kavir manashi paribhu swayambhur yatat yaturidan vyadadhach chaspatibhya samabhyaha.
Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reapproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self-sufficient philosopher, who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial.
Mantra 9. Andham tama pravishanti ye vidyam upasate tato huya eva te tamo ya uvidyayam rataha.
Those who engage in the culture of nescient activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge.
Mantra 10. Anyad eva hur vidyaya anyad ahur avidyaya iti chushumadiranam yenastad vichachakshare. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge, and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience. Mantra 11. Vidyam cha yas tad vedo bhayam saha avidyayam rityum tirtva vidyayamritam ashnute.
Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality.
Immortality.
Immortality, I'm sorry.
Immortality, different meaning.
Yeah, different meaning. Yes, I'm sorry.
This is okay. Mantra 12. Andham tama pravishanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuyeva te tamo ya sambhutyam rataha.
Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute.
Mantra 13. Anyad evahu sambhavat, anyad ahura sambhavat, iti shushumadhiranam yena stadvichachakshire.
It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme causes of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities, who clearly explained it.
Mantra 14. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastad vedo bhayam saha vinashena mrityum tirtva sambhutyamritam ashnute.
One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and his transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes, as well as the temporary material world, the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men, and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge.
Mantra 15. Ranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam tatvam pushana pavrinu satya dharmaya drishtaye.
O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee.
16. Pushane karshayama surya prajapatya vyuha rasmin samuha tejo yate rupam kalyantamam tate pashami yosavaso purusha sohamasmi. That's a tough one.
O my Lord, O primal philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun, as am I.
Mantra 17. Vayoranilam amritam atedam basmantam shariram om krato smara kritam smara krato smara kritam smara.
Let this temporary body be burnt to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you.
Mantra 18. Agne naya supatare asman vishvani deva vayunani vidvan yodhyasmach tuhurana meno bhuyishtam te nama uktim videma.
O my Lord, as powerful as fire, O omnipotent one, now I offer you all obeisances, falling on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to to reach you. And since you know all that I have done in the past, please free me from the reactions in my to my past sins, so that there will be no hindrance to my progress.
Shri Isopnisad ki jai. So, last we just started from the introduction. I believe we reached page 9, but we covered what Veda means. Veda means knowledge, perfect knowledge. We covered, probably everybody maybe remembering the 4 defects, which distinguishes a liberated person from a conditioned person. Anybody want to say what?
Imperfect senses.
Yes.
Prone to commit mistakes.
Yes.
Propensity to cheat.
Yes.
Illusion.
Subject to illusion, right. Does anyone remember any of the examples given for any of those?
Prone to commit mistakes, Mahatma Gandhi, I think, was the example.
Yeah.
And then cheating propensity was another one, right?
Yes. That was a fool. He poses as someone intelligent.
Yeah, who knows everything, yeah.
And and the subject to illusion is how we take the body to be ourself. And imperfect senses is someone will say, can you show me God? But we can't even see in the dark. So our sight is very limited. All our senses are limited. And we talked about how the Vedas are above the 4 defects, and the Vedic principles are to be accepted as axiomatic truths. That means without questioning, that they're self-evident, are above the 4 defects. If we want to know anything that's beyond the purview of our material senses, then we have to take knowledge from the Vedas. And just like we gave the example, if we want to know who our father is, we don't know who our father is, then we have to go to our mother. We have to accept our mother's evidence that who our father is. And we also covered the Varnashram, that the 4 orders, 4 social orders and the 4 spiritual orders. Mentioned the Parampara. We talked about the 3 types of evidence, Pratyaksha, Anuman, Shabda, Praman. And which one is the best? Does anybody remember which is the best? Does anyone remember what they are? Who's that? Yes. Do you remember what they are? The 3 types of evidence? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes. Shruti. Yes. Vedic knowledge of the Brahman. Yes. And we talked about the 2 classes of transcendentalists. That's the impersonalists and the Vaishnavas. We talked about how one must accept a spiritual master. That's a Vedic principle. And we talked about the aim of Vedic research, which is Krishna tells himself, is to find out Krishna. He's the goal of the Vedas. He's the compiler of the Vedas. We talked about how it's easier to learn about Krishna from his devotee, someone who knows Krishna. Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge into you because he has seen the truth. He knows, so he can enlighten one who has not seen the truth. And we mentioned how Vyasadeva put the Vedas into writing for those in Kali Yuga whose lives are short. Prayanos payu sabya kaloasmin yuge jana manda samanda matayo mandabhagya hi upadrucha. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men have but short lives. They're quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So this is why the Jivanausadhi, he was he could see the past, present, and future, and he could see that we would need things in writing. We can't even remember what happened yesterday most of the time. So writing things down is a handy way, a good way for us. These personalities like Vyasadeva, who are self-realized souls, of course, he was a Shakti-based avatar. They see through the eyes of the Shastra, and being able to see in the future, they become full with compassion, and they actually want to make these Vedic writings easier, more approachable, and easier for those with these defects to understand. So this is Srila Vyasadeva, great the incarnation of God. He's a Shakti-based avatar. And we left off on page 9, I believe. Page 9. Let's see. Originally there were one Veda. People were so intelligent that their memories, once hearing, they could remember everything. And then he divided it into 4. And then he passed it down in disciplic succession to his disciples, and them in turn into their disciples. And I think we are right here. Yeah. Then he gave the charge of the Vedas. This is page 9 if you have the small book and you want to follow along. Then he gave the charge of the Vedas to his different disciples. He then thought of the less intelligent class of men, Stri, Shudra, and Dvijabandhu. He considered the woman class and Sudra class, worker class, and Dvijabandhu. Now this can be a hot topic for some people. When we hear the word less intelligent, oftentimes it causes sometimes controversy, or I don't know if any of you feel put on the spot when you hear that women are less intelligent, or actually basically everyone in this age is less intelligent, because Sudras, Dvijabandhu, and the women, that's pretty much everyone in Kali Yuga.
If you're not this body, it doesn't make a difference.
Exactly. That's a material designation. Spiritually, we're all equal, of course, as spirit souls. But he considered Dvijabandhu refers to those who are born in a high family, but who are not properly qualified. Dvijabandhu, Prabhupada said in a lecture that Dvijabandhu is not always Brahma Bandhu, born in a Brahmin family. It can also be Kshatriya and Vaishya, anyone who receives second birth. Shudra means first birth, only born of a father and mother. He does not accept a spiritual master and take his second birth. Whereas the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas would take a second birth and have a spiritual master. But one who is born in one of these higher class families but does not qualify himself as such, then he's called a Dvijabandhu. For these persons, Srila Vyasadeva compiled the Mahabharata, called the History of India, and the 18 Puranas. These are all part of Vedic literature. The Puranas, the Mahabharata, the 4 Vedas, and the Upanishads. The Upanishads are part of the Vedas. Then Vyasadeva summarized all Vedic knowledge for scholars and philosophers in what is called the Vedanta Sutra. This is the last word of the Vedas. When I think of women being less intelligent, or if I'm approached on the topic, I like to think of Queen Kunti, Gandhari. About Gandhari, Prabhupada says that she was no less in character than Bhishmadev. And Bhishmadev is one of the 12 Mahajanas. So spiritually, we're all equal and can be on the same level. Like Queen Kunti, in her prayers, she says, Tata Paramahansanam Muninamam Alatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidanartam Katam Pashe Mahistriya. Speaking to Lord Krishna, you yourself have descended and imparted the knowledge into the hearts of the Paramahansas and the Munis, the great thinkers. How can we, women, know you properly or perfectly? So socially, and in the purport, Prabhupada says that even though Kunti Devi is a great devotee, she accepted the role as an innocent woman. And so we have to remember that we are all, it's like this life is like playing the role in a drama. It's temporary. And you can say that it is, what's that word they use for when someone has the character and they're placed in a particular role because they're, what's that called? When someone's put in a role where they're like it, in a drama, someone's put in a position, their character. Typecasted. So due to our past mentality or consciousness, we are placed into certain roles. It's like typecasting. And we're not meant to get too caught up into these roles that we lose sight of who we are beyond these roles. And Queen Kunti had that sight. She was a great devotee. And also like Haridas Thakur. He's another good example where he was born in a so-called low-class family, and he accepted that position. He's Namacharya. He's a very great, exalted devotee, yet he accepted a position of one who's not able to enter the Jagannath temple. He would stay some distance away in a cottage and offer his obeisances to the chakra on the top of the temple. And Lord Chaitanya himself would visit Haridas Thakur every day and bring him Jagannath Prasadam. So those are good examples to remember. When we hear less intelligent, it doesn't mean there's no intelligence, or it's not even really a bad thing. It means more emotional for a woman. And a woman needs this emotion for nurturing, for taking care of children, and she has a big heart, She's known to be, like Prabhupada said, that women naturally gather to religious discourses. They have a naturally gentle. Anyway, any comments or questions so far on this topic?
Yeah, usually these days everybody wants equality of women rather than everyone wants equality on a material level rather than like a role that we are born to play, so to speak.
Materially, we're not all equal. We're all different. And we'll be more satisfied and happy if we accept that and act in these roles. It's not that one is better or worse. It's just different. But unfortunately, one tends to think that, one is better than the other. In society, maybe more importance has been placed on one of these positions. But
and that's why they're artificially trying to make it equal,
Right.
Mother Jiva?
Yes.
From my understanding, from what I was taught a while ago, was that in this age of Kali, that we are all less than Shudra. So to kind of talk back about the equality thing, in a way we kind of are all equal because we're all less than Shudra, and then our dharma for this yuga is Mahamantra, correct?
That's correct. Kalo Sudra Sambhava. We're all born of the Sudra quality. Yeah. Sudra, Prabhupada said, is like once born, a father and a mother, not twice born. Our family hasn't undergone the samskaras and the purificatory processes for obtaining a child of a higher birth, or a higher consciousness. That's right. And the only one good quality in this age is that by chanting the holy names of the Lord, one can rise up to the higher standard of spiritual life and go back to Godhead.
Jai.
That's right. You have to excuse me. I'm not feeling so well today. Vyasadeva personally wrote the Vedanta Sutra under the instructions of Narada, his Guru Maharaj, his spiritual master. But still he was not satisfied. That is a long story described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva was not very satisfied even after compiling many Puranas and Upanishads, and even after writing the Vedanta Sutra. Then his spiritual master, Narada, instructed him, "You explain the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta means ultimate knowledge, and the ultimate knowledge is Krishna. Krishna says that throughout all the Vedas, one has to understand him. Vedaishcha sarvera hameva veja. Vedantakrit veda vedeva chaham." Krishna also says, Vedantakrit veda vedeva chaham. I am the compiler of the Vedanta Sutra, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Therefore, the ultimate object is Krishna. That is explained in all the Vaishnava commentaries on Vedanta philosophy. So we know the story of Vyasadeva being feeling incomplete, feeling despondent is the word that is often used. After compiling all the Vedas, even the Vedanta Sutra, when he summarized it all. And he went and he sat on the bank of the Saraswati River, and he contemplated what was wrong. Why was he feeling like this? And he actually himself came to the conclusion that he must not have properly glorified the devotional service to the Lord. And at that time, Narada Muni came. He appeared there on the scene, and he confirmed Vyasadeva's reflections. And he instructed him to properly describe the glories of the Lord, the process of devotional service. And this is what Srila Vyasadeva did with the Srimad Bhagavatam. Even the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he starts with the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadyasya Yataho, that the Supreme Lord, he offers his obeisances. He gets right to the point that Krishna, "Oh my Lord, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, I offer my obeisances to you, Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are complete. You are Swarat. You're independent." He cuts to the chase, I guess you could say. There's no more flowery words. He gets right to explaining how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he continues to glorify Krishna and his incarnations and his devotees and his pastimes, relationships with his devotees. So that's Vyasadeva. You can read more about the story if you read the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very nice. And let's see. Therefore, the ultimate object is Krishna. That is explained in all Vaishnava commentaries on Vedanta philosophy. We Gaudiya Vaishnavas have our commentary on Vedanta philosophy called, everyone know? Anyone know? Govinda Bhashya. Written by Baladev Vidyabhushan. And there's a nice, Baladev Bhushan is a great acharya in our disciplic succession. From childhood, he was exceptionally intelligent and very devotional. He studied Sanskrit grammar, logic, Vedanta philosophy, and he had a burning desire to know the truth, the Vedantic conclusions. And he, after he finished his childhood studies, he left home at a quite young age, and he traveled to places of pilgrimage, and he ended up in Udupi. There he met some Tattvavadis. They're followers of Ramanuja and the Sri Sampradaya. And he studied the different commentaries, Vedanta commentaries there. And after that, he became a Digvijay. A Digvijay is one who has conquered his opponents. He was so expert in logical argument and presenting the Vedic philosophy based on the Shastra. And from there, he went to Jagannath Puri. And at Jagannath Puri, he happened to attend a discourse by one Radha Damodar Goswami, who was like a great-grand disciple of Rasikananda, who's a disciple of Shamananda Pandit. And after hearing from him about Jiva Goswami's Satsandarbhas, became so convinced and interested that he stayed there, and he ended up taking initiation from this Radha Damodar Goswami, who named him Ekanti Govinda. And I don't know what his name was before that. There isn't so much known about his birth. He appeared somewhere near Ramuna, which is near Orissa, but there aren't so many details about his birth. But after studying some time with Radha Damodar Goswami, he went to Vrindavan under the care of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who was the head or senior Vaishnava in Vrindavan. And there he studied the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Bhakti Shastras. And at that same time, in Jaipur, there was a conflict. Well, there's one group called the Ramanadis. They're followers of Ramanujacharya. There, they went to the king of Jaipur, who happens to be a Gaudiya Vaishnava, and they were complaining that Govindaji, who was Rupa Goswami's worshipful deity, who came to Jaipur, should be worshipped by them, because the Gaudiyas, the priests who came with them, the Gaudiya Sampradaya is not bona fide because they don't have a commentary on Vedanta Sutra, or the Vedantic philosophy. And the king himself, being a Gaudiya Vaishnava, was confused to what to do, because he didn't know if there was a commentary. So he sent word to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur if he could come and clear up this, so that the Gaudiya priests could continue their worship of Govindaji. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, being very elderly, didn't feel that he was fit to go. So he sent Ekanti Govinda in his stead. And because he was so impressed with his vast learning, his humility, and his devotion. So he sent him in instead of himself going. And when Ekanti Govinda went there, he debated with the Ramanandis about how Gaudiya Vaishnavas are bona fide. They were connected with the Madhva Sampradaya, and that Lord Chaitanya accepted the Srimad Bhagavatam as a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, on the conclusion of the Vedas. And they didn't accept this. They wouldn't accept his although his argument was very scholarly, and but they wouldn't accept that the Srimad Bhagavatam was the bona fide commentary for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So Ekanti Govinda said, okay, give me a few days and I'll give you a commentary. And they agreed to this proposal. So Ekanti Govinda went to Govindaji and he prostrated himself and he prayed to Govindaji to please help him to write a commentary. And that evening, Govindaji appeared to Ekanti Govinda and told him to write the commentary and that he would guide him. So this gave him assurance. He wrote the commentary in just a few days, and this is unheard of. Usually it takes quite some time to write a commentary on the Vedas. And Govinda inspired Ekanti Brahmachari in his heart to write the commentary, the Gaudiya commentary on Vedanta. And it became known as the Govinda Bhashya because it came from Govindaji. And Ekanti Govinda presented the commentary, and when the Ramanandis heard this, they were astounded. They'd never heard a commentary so perfect. And after hearing this commentary, they accepted the Gaudiyas as bona fide, and they were so impressed that they wanted to accept this Ekanti Govinda as their spiritual master. They wanted to surrender to him. But he declined. He told them that they were from the Sri Sampradaya, which is one of the bona fide Sampradayas, and he wasn't there to say that their Sampradaya was not bona fide or anything, that they should stay where they are, worshiping Krishna in their mood of dasya, or servitude or friendship. And so after he returned to Vrindavan, and there was great reception, he was, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was so pleased with him that he showered him with blessings. And after Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur left, after he left his body, Baladev Vijayabhushan became the next Acharya, or the next head of the Vaishnavas at that time. And after he wrote the commentary, the Ramanadis gave him the name Baladev Vijayabhushan. And so therefore we have the Govinda Bhashya. And Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, he dedicates the book to Srila Baladev Vijayabhushan, who presented so nicely the Govinda Bhashya commentary on Vedanta philosophy. He says that in the beginning. Any questions or comments on Baladev Vijayabhushan? No? Okay. Similarly, Ramanujacharya has a commentary, and Madhvacharya has one. There are other commentaries too. The version of Shankaracharya is not the only commentary. There are many Vedanta commentaries, but because the Vaishnavas did not present the first Vedanta commentary, people are under the wrong impression that Shankaracharya is the only Vedanta commentary. Besides that, Vyasadeva himself wrote the perfect Vedanta commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the first words of the Vedanta Sutra, Janmad Yasya Yataha. And that Janmad Yasya Yataha is fully explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. The Vedanta Sutra simply hints at what is Brahman, the absolute truth. The absolute truth is that from whom everything emanates. This is the summary, but it is explained in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam. If everything is emanating from the absolute truth, then what is the nature of the absolute truth? That is also explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The absolute truth must be consciousness. He is self-effulgent, Swarat. We develop our consciousness and knowledge by receiving knowledge from others. But for him, it is said that he is self-effulgent. The whole summary of Vedic knowledge is the Vedanta Sutra. And the Vedanta Sutra is explained by the writer himself in Srimad Bhagavatam. We finally request that those who are actually after Vedic knowledge to try to understand the explanation of all Vedic knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So, since Krishna is the goal of the Vedas, the Srimad Bhagavatam is a perfect explanation of Krishna and his devotees, his pastimes, his incarnations, his everything. It's a natural commentary, and it's written by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God, and it says that it's meant for the ultimate good of all people. It's all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Any comments or questions so far? I'm really sorry, I'm not feeling well today. I don't want to go on to the first verse yet because there's not much time.
It's interesting. You said Ramanuja and Madhvacharya also have with.
Yes, yes. Yeah, each Sampradaya, I believe, has a commentary.
Yeah, generally when you think of Vedanta Sutra, you think of Shankaracharya's Vedanta Sutra.
Right. Prabhupada said that it's not that the others don't have, just because Shankaracharya's was the first. I think it's the most well-known.
And Govinda Bhashya is the Vedanta Sutra of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Yes.
Gaudiya Vaishnavas, right. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on the Sutra, but written by the author himself, of the Vedas. What could be more perfect? Everything is.
So, in that sense, do we need a Vedanta Sutra? Is the question.
Right, but we weren't being accepted as bona fide.
Accepted, so we had to
for
do
the
it.
worship of Govindaji, yeah. And so, directly from Govindaji himself. Even Baladev Vibhushan, I guess, at the end of the Vedanta, at the end of his commentary, he writes a beautiful prayer to Govindaji. I don't have it here.
I know. I mean, Sutra means
directly written by him.
Sutra means aphorisms, which are like short, succinct philosophy. We believe more in Katha than Sutra, I would think, right?
In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it does say, essential truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. So there's room for sutra too. Like mantra, Isopnisad is like the mantras are almost like sutras.
Sutras, yeah, they are.
Yeah, it says a lot in a little space. And
Mataji,
yeah, go ahead.
Mataji, when we say natural commentary, then the word natural means as it is. The way the word we use for Bhagavad Gita, as it is. So when we say natural commentary, should we interpret that as it is?
I've never thought of that. I suppose you could.
What did you say is the natural commentary, Jiva, in reference to?
He was asking if natural. Oh, the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, I think, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I think Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary.
Yeah, it naturally follows, The Vedas are meant to lead you to a certain point, and the natural next step is Krishna. And it's the essence. You take it all, you get the Vedanta Sutra, and to further understand it, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the next step.
With greater mellows, right?
What?
With greater mellows?
Greater mellow. Oh, yeah, rasa. Sometimes Prabhupada translates rasa as zest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, zest. It's like the essence. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mother Jiva, I just wanted to say that one of the things that I love the most about Sri Isopnisad, and especially this introduction, is that I find it very comforting that Prabhupada says that the more that you try to understand Krishna, the more baffled you will become. I always like that because sometimes it's so introspective and so much of our philosophy is very deep but simple at the same time. And I just like that Prabhupada's even comforting us, saying, look, you could try, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, and generally the Upanishads are for jnanis who like philosophy and to mental speculate. There's something for everyone, just like the Mahabharata. It's for people in this age because it has all the good elements of a story. It has conflict, it has mystery, it has suspense, it has controversy, surprise. It has extraordinary characters and behavior. It has everything to captivate one's interest, and yet there's deep philosophy there too. The Bhagavad Gita is in the Mahabharata, and that's for the less intelligent. It's pretty intense philosophy, but it's intertwined with story too, so it captures our attention. Like the Ramayana, makes it easier to remember. When you have a story, just like if we see a drama, sometimes it's easier to remember these pastimes after seeing the drama, as opposed to hearing or reading it.
This is why I think the gopis do not try to understand or know Krishna. They just want to love Krishna, right?
But they already know him. So
yeah, they do.
You don't have to study. They're at the goal of all this study.
Right. The end of knowledge, all knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Purandara Dasa of South India, he also says that to think I will try to know you who has ever known you, he says,
What? Can you say that again?
To think I will know you who has ever known you.
Oh.
I mean, it's a rough translation of the Kannada song I'm trying to translate.
Yeah, even even the jnanis and yogis, after traveling at the speed of mind, cannot reach the Lord. But it's when the Lord is pleased with one's devotional attitude that he reveals himself. When one's eyes are tinged with that salve of love, he reveals himself.
Mataji, I found Govinda Bhashyam epilogue. The last verse talks about how Govinda came in his dream.
Yes.
Is that the one you're talking about? Vidya Rupam Bhushanam Me Pradaya Khyatam Ninye Tena Yo Mam Udara Sri Govinda Swapna Nirdishta Bhashyo Radha Bandhur Bandhurangam Sa Jiva. All glories to graceful and handsome Lord Govinda, who is a dear friend of Sri Radha, who kindly gave me the name Vidya Bhushana and who spoke this commentary to me in a dream.
Yes. Yeah. So next time we'll start with the invocation. There.
Hare Krishna, Jiva.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a wonderful class once again.
I'm sorry. I had something wrong with my stomach all week, and I've been feeling very weak and not myself. But I wanted to, for purification, to try to get through this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have a question. You talked about some typecasting. What does it mean? Like, how can I understand like
typecasting?
Yeah.
It's custom fit. Where we are now is due to our consciousness, our past activities.
Mm-hmm.
It's not random.
Okay.
Like if you're in a drama, you might be given any role, but typecasting is you're given a role that's like your character.
Okay, that's you. You're perfect to fit that role, to deliver the acting and everything like that. Okay.
Like Shuddha Bhakti, somebody is always cast as a villain. You know what I'm saying? That's typecasting.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand that. Yeah.
They do well.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
So in a sense, our being born as a woman, in a sense, is typecasting.
Right.
We are stuck in the role of a woman.
We could have been a man attached to a woman.
Yeah, we could have been a man. Yeah, exactly.
Our consciousness is fixed on a woman nature or something. But Queen Kunti, she's this great Vaishnava. The Lord himself touches her feet. And, he takes the humble position that in society, that she has a woman's body. Yet she's above that. She's a Vaishnava. She's not on the bodily concept. Yet for peace in society, for the social norm, she accepts that humble position.
Yes, and I remember
she's most intelligent, because she's worshiping the Lord, just like it says, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishna Pango Pangastra Varshanam.
Yagna Sankirtana Praya Yajantihi Sumedasaha.
Those were sufficient, intelligent who worship the Lord Chaitanya, and by the method of the Sankirtan process, by the Sankirtan chanting of the Lord's holy name.
Yes. And I remember regarding status of a woman, that, we are lowest, but you told me once that Prabhupada said that if you are taken up the Krishna consciousness, that means you are not Shudra, though you are in this woman body, but you are beyond this. I remember something you said one time. Do you recollect that, Jiva?
Yeah, well, Prabhupada always said that these women are not ordinary. And
ordinary women, right.
That it's like if you think you're a woman, then that's I didn't think of the proper words tonight. Yeah.
But if we look at the soul level, then we are soul. Soul is neither a man nor neither a woman. Just it's the physical identity, I think, so that mind sets you in because you have taken this woman body. So you think that you are weaker, you are lowest, you think not fit. Yeah. Thank you.
Spiritually, we're all equal. That's right.
Right.
Very much, Jiva Mataji. It was nice. It's a nice class.
Thank you.
We should end it here because Mataji is not feeling good.
Oh, it's 8:00. It's 8:00. I'm supposed to end by 8.
You are not feeling good either, so we should.
I'm sorry. I should have had my husband give class or something. Maybe it would have been.
Yeah.
No, we want to hear from you, Mother Jiva.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You're all very kind and merciful. And we'll offer obeisances. Glories to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.